Today, Jon, Jen, and Justin sit down and talk about storms. Jon, Jen, Justin, Jon, Jen, Justin, Jon, Jen, Justin. Trying to say that 5 times fast. Ooh. We hope today is helpful. Thanks for listening.
Oh my goodness, we're here. Listen, I am sitting here with 2 people that, if you're not watching on video, they look incredible. I got out of the car today, and I'm shockingly wearing all black. And John Martz walks out. Jen Davis walks out. Both in all black.
So. Well, actually, and you usually have grayish pants on?
Nope. No, never. I never have a pop of color.
But maybe it's faded black. Then that's it.
Black.
And so that's what I was, and not even
same
on purpose.
Same. I just luckily.
Well, you guys look great.
Thanks. Slimming.
The DLT is here. We're all here.
We're all here and all dressed exactly the same.
We are dressed exactly the same, but that doesn't mean that we think the same. It's a very diverse group of thought. Like, it's mainly just...
You've always said that.
I've always said that.
You've always said that.
I've always said that. All right, so today is the first time the DLT is on here, so we thought, what a great chance to give an update to the whole process, because this is airing the day after Jeremy's last day.
And that's why we're...
No, I was doing a moment of silence. I'm sorry. Hang on just a sec. All right, that's good.
It was...
Sad.
So,
energy level.
We're dressed accordingly. We're dressed accordingly for that, and so...
All right. Also, listen, nobody's told me this, and I feel like you guys would be honest with me, but every time I laugh, when I listen back, guys, stop.
No, it's a great, hey, Justin, it's a great laugh, man.
It's a solid laugh.
It's a great laugh.
It sounds like someone is letting air out of a balloon, but like not like that, like one of those, but just like a, like it is the weirdest. It sounds like a 79-year-old man laughing, and no one has told me other than my wife. When I brought it up, she's like, oh yeah. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Wow, you are looking at each other like that's truth.
Well, John's going to have the conversation with you.
Yeah.
Now that you're interim, I just feel like you always want to have the hard conversations with me.
It's tough. Someone's got to do it.
He leans into them. He leans into the hard conversations.
So true.
Okay, so we thought it would be a good chance to sit down and just walk through the process. We've had a lot of questions come in of what does the process look like? Well, I know that we have a search team. I know that we have a board. But what is this? Are you guys like searching just Missouri? Are you searching just Northwest Arkansas? Like, is that like, what is the actual process? So I thought it'd be helpful for us to just walk through that and then get into a little bit of some leadership elements, especially in a season like this. Martz came to the table with an idea. And I really liked it.
Shucks.
It's
I'm blushing.
About bison and charging things and storms.
I hope I didn't make it up. We'll see.
I don't.
I've heard it before. I think it's actual. I think it's a real leadership person.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So we're going to get into that. So as far as updates, where do you guys want to start? Where do you want to start?
Well, I think we start with what the process is, right? I think people want to know what's happening behind the scenes.
Okay, let's start there.
Okay.
What is happening behind the scenes, Jen?
Behind the scenes, we've got a search committee. And so where are we searching, Justin? Are we just searching Northwest Arkansas?
No, we are not. It is a national search. Could be even international.
We don't know.
Yeah, and by international, I mean Canada.
Maybe Mexico.
Could be Mexico. I just don't think our reach, other than Belgium, has really...
taken off.
Yeah, really
love the waffles there.
We are doing I don't think that's right.
And chocolate.
I think that.
I've been there.
Oh my gosh, listen to me.
I've been there.
Listen to this. Yeah. Okay, so I know Jeremy
is that the
now,
wooden shoes too? Or is that the Netherlands?
That's the Netherlands.
Okay.
That's Dutch.
Okay.
So close.
Sorry.
There is no Waffle House on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Jeremy came loving Waffle House.
It was a developed taste.
He wasn't born into it.
It changes the entire 13-year career for him for me. I feel like
he came here and then discovered it and then said yes.
I feel
it's
like
like Mexican Villa. It's like Mexican Villa if you're not from here.
As he left yesterday, I don't feel like I gave him the condolences that were necessary, not knowing that he's going to a Waffle House-less area. I didn't know that.
He's probably dressed all in black today too.
He's dressed all in black. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. Belgium. We got it. National search. We are doing a national search. Okay. So that process is national. So the board wanted to put the information out in every single way possible because the board has been saying from the start, we don't necessarily want to find the best person. We want to find the right person. Now, hopefully the right person is the best person. I have a tendency to think that might be true, but it's going to be a national search because we know we're going to find the right person. So that's what the process looks like. You mentioned a search committee. I've never been a part of a committee. Like, I usually call them teams. This is the first committee.
I think we could look at it like a team, right? I think
But I like committee. No, I like when you said that.
Seems fancy.
It did.
Seems fancy.
You guys have shirts?
And name tags. We have to wear
nice.
like dresses and ties, and it's fancy.
So we've got 6 people on that team.
I'm on it.
You're on it, Jen.
You're on it.
I'm on it. We
Jody.
got Jody from the Dream Center.
She already brings so much value.
She's incredible. So
Yes, she does.
those 3 represent the staff. So you've got a central representation, a campus representation, and a Dream Center representation. And then the board wanted to do something with the other 3 that would be somebody that was a board representative, which Steph Politis is going to be that representative for that. And then you've also got somebody that is familiar with North Point, but on the outside of the organization as a whole, and that's Jake Smith. So if you remember Jake from, we did a masterclass with Jake about a year and a half ago or so on emotional health, emotional intelligence. He's unreal. The biggest thing with him is every time I'm in a room, I don't feel like the smartest person in the room.
Oh, hold on. What do you feel like in this room, though?
Second.
Oh.
So does that? I think that makes me third.
I don't think it does. I don't think it does.
No, it does. It does. Yeah, that's what it does.
And first shall be last in heaven, and last shall be first. So, yep. I got my day one day. One day.
One day.
So
I'm feeling pretty good about things.
No, I know, right?
Yeah, now I'm nervous because I feel like I need to bring more to the table.
I'm so excited for what you brought today. I am.
So we got Jake Smith as that outside voice. And then, guys, okay, this guy was on the board when I stepped into this position, Shannon McMurtry. And one of my favorite, just all-time favorite board members, his passion for North Point and his just vision and the way he sees things. He's an incredible human. The whole family, the McMurtry family is just awesome. They've been a phenomenal North Point family for so long. So he is the 6th person on that team, and he's representing somebody that's outside of the board, outside of the staff, but a North Pointer that gets it, knows it. So those 6 are the 6 that make it up. And we have created a process.
We have created a process. We've also already met once. And one of the things I think that stuck out to me from that meeting is how tightly everyone is holding the mission. All 6 people, whether it be staff or board, the number one thing that keeps coming up is how passionate everyone is about holding this mission so tightly.
Yeah, 100%. So we've got resumes coming in, applications coming in. We have a system that we're working through on how we grade those.
And if someone wanted to apply, how would they do it?
There's a link directly on the website, northpointchurch.tv. You go to the jobs section right there and there at the bottom. It will say, click here to apply, and it takes you to a digital form. Walks you through everything. And it is, like, if you're going to, I carve out a couple minutes. It's a pretty long application.
It is. It's a long application, and the questions are so powerful. I think that's the thing is, like, we did spend time, you spent time on curating the right question so that we can see what those answers are, right, as they're coming in through that process.
Right. So then we've got a 12-question rubric that the actual search team is using to grade all of those.
Rubric.
Yeah, I know.
It's a fancy word.
I know.
You may have just shot past me.
No. I usually have a word of the day, and it's not rubric. It's coming up later, but rubric is up there. I know. Thanks for noticing. Well, I appreciate that.
I'll say this from somebody kind of on the outside of that, but very passionate about who's in this position, right? Long term. I love the thought that's been put into that. What do we call it? Committee?
Well, yeah. I mean, people want to call it a team, but it is a committee.
Love that thought because we have to have that different representation. It can't just be somebody that the staff really likes. It can't just be somebody that, we don't open it up to 4,000 people at North Point to just vote on who it's, this isn't a candidate that we are just casting our ballot for and who's the smoothest talking and that type of stuff. The amount of intentionality that goes into this, because you don't want to get a couple weeks in and be like, whoa, they think that way. We didn't even ask that question. Like, this is one of those things where I love the organization of the process. You don't shortchange the process, because then you might shortchange the experience. And so I'm very excited about just honestly the longer it is, the harder that it is, the more questions, the more thorough that it is, the more you understand and get to know that person, the more you believe in that person. So I'm excited about that process.
I love it. I couldn't agree more.
Oh!
I know.
Wow.
I agree. So that's the process. They've got that. And then once those get graded, there will be an interview process with the search committee. And then really we're trying to focus down to 2 to 3 candidates to then give to the board. And then the board runs a process. So it is going to go through so many different lenses to find what is the right fit. So I really do feel, from the start of this whole thing, when the board got together, day 1 and 2, I was like, this is going to be interesting, right? Jeremy's never left. So this will be a first. It was quickly seen that the board, they just came together. And I was so impressed with them. Like, so impressed.
The amount of thought that's gone into this, the amount of prayer that's gone into this, right? And when you look at the members of the board, they each bring a different lens, a different perspective, right? And so I do think that sometimes we can have blind spots, right? We can think of a smooth talker or somebody that gets our culture or somebody that can well define what it means to them for this to be a safe place to find and follow Jesus. Yet with the board, we won't have a blind spot, right? We're not going to be looking at one thing because this board brings so many different lenses to this that I do think Martz, what you said, having that full picture, we won't be surprised 2 weeks later of who comes into the organization or starts leading us from that point on.
It's great. So that's the process. That's what it looks like. September 1st is the first day of consideration for that search committee.
What's that mean?
That means it'll be the first day we consider things.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at that. Are we not looking at anything before September 1st?
Can you use that in a sentence? Can you define the origin? Thank you.
We will be looking at those. People are already grading them, walking through, but September 1 is going to be the actual date. We're all getting together as a team and saying, all right, what do we have here? What does this look like? And that's just the first day of really like, hey, we're going to look at your resume. We're going to look at your application. So, and then there's going to be a process with the board. So at best, we're looking at October of knowing an answer. And that could be October of 2027. Like, we don't know. We don't have a timeline put on this. We just know that we want to find the right person for the seat. Yep. And I think that everybody that's involved with that, everybody that's a North Pointer, I think could agree with that. I'm excited. I'm excited about the process, actually. I think it's going to provide something pretty incredible. So as we talk about that, John Martz, you brought up an idea, and I thought it went so well with leading into an unknown area. And you were talking about bison, which is probably your third favorite animal?
I'm big bison fan over here, in case you didn't know.
Do you have any tattoos of bison?
You know what? I've only got the one that everyone sees, but it's not bison related.
Oh.
So,
disappointing.
I would have imagined a big back piece. That's what I would have imagined. All right, so what do you got, man? We weren't even talking. You pinged it. You pinged it over, and you're like, "What have we talked about this?"
I pinged 3 different thoughts.
You're getting the riff here in a minute.
I pinged 3 different thoughts, and they didn't like any of my other 2. And I think they just said, "I think this one
we can make work. We can make it work."
And then we came in, and you wanted to talk about stuff, and I'm like, "Well, just hit the record. Let's go."
So
you wanted to talk through it.
You wanted to talk through it, make some plans. Like, just go.
I do think about this. Okay, this is one of those times where everyone is stepping into something new, right? So everyone is. Whether you're an attender at North Point and you have a decision to make, right? Is this something that you want to own? Is this a mission that you want to continue to move forward? Is this, in what ways do I take a next step forward? I've had so many people come up to me in the lobby and be like, hey, whatever you need, I just feel like this is the time where I want to lean in and take a step. And I'm like, that's awesome. And there's so many staff members where all of our jobs transition when Jeremy's does. So that's just the reality. We all carry, whether it's a silent transition and we do extra work in different areas to pick up the weight in some different stuff. And whether that's on campuses, whether that's central, whether that's communication, whatever it is, we're all going to play a different role. And a lot of times when change happens, here's what I know. There's 2 things people hate: change and the way things are. And in 5 years from now, all of us think our life's going to look different. But so many of us, we don't choose the change, right? And That's not easy to choose the change. I'm not saying you have to choose the change. Sometimes change is thrust upon you, and you get to decide how you respond to that change. And so there is this, there's a bumper sticker that is, be like the bison. And yeah, I'm sure you've seen that.
Where do they sell that?
I'm sure you've seen that.
Right where they sell the
North Dakota.
26.2 ones.
Yeah. I've never.
The 13.1.
It's all about running. Yeah. It's all about running.
You said, hold on, and we talked for like literally 2 seconds before. You said charge like a bison.
Charge the storm. Yeah,
Yes.
you charge the storm.
So bison are the only animals that instinctively walk toward a storm. So every other animal would like see a storm and they'd like go the opposite direction, right? To get away from the storm. Mm-hmm. Bison are the only animals that see a storm coming and they instinctively know the quickest way through that storm is to walk straight into it. And you get out of that storm faster when you face it head on. And so many times when change happens, I think we go through a process of grief or a process of like disillusionment where it's like, I reject that. I don't like it. I ignore it. There's so many ways to ignore things nowadays, right? I could just, if I wanted to ignore you, I just pick up my phone and I could just scroll on Facebook for a little bit, right? I could get really into my health. I could go on different journeys to not deal with the actual problem that I have within me, right? I'll find different problems to deal with that are more surface level instead of dealing with the actual problem, which we were talking about this last week, right after the podcast. And you'd mentioned, right, what you resist persists. And which great line.
That's not mine.
Yeah.
That's not mine.
It is now.
But I do have
by the way,
I do have a back piece that says it.
we all knew it wasn't your line. Okay, it was it was like, man, that might be the smartest person in the room line right there.
It's not. No, Jake Smith said that. I'm just joking. I wouldn't put it past him because it is true. What resists persists. Like, and this is exactly what we're talking about today of like, when you run away from that element, the element continues to chase. Right?
And
like,
it gets bigger and scarier.
100%.
And then it gets to be nighttime and it's dark and it's storming, and that always seems worse than in the light of day. And I think when you look at the idea of charge the storm, that's self-leadership, right? We talk a lot about leadership at North Point. And oftentimes someone will ask me, they're like, how do you learn to lead well? You have to lead yourself well first. And I think in something like transition, you look up and you say, how can I be the first in the storm, right? How can I be the first in? How can I face this head on so that it doesn't get scary, that I don't make up this big story in my head, that it's, you start to spiral, right? And I think when we were talking about this idea of charge the storm, in a transition, in a shift, in a different feeling something, the best way to handle it is eyes wide open.
Yes. And when I think about this, it's actually probably the thing that you are resisting that I just believe God might want to use you in as well. And so many times, like in this season, if I'm just speaking personally, there is a piece of me that feels like I need to be confident. I need to be optimistic. I need to be light. I need to be encouraging. Like I need to be these things because if I'm something else, not that it shows weakness, it just shows a lack of confidence in a season where there's probably a lack of a lot of uncertainty that's going around. And so it's funny, I tell myself, okay, I think that I need to be these things. And those things are kind of naturally me anyway. So I'm like, great. But even when you are optimistic, there are times when things are heavy, right? Even when you are confident, there's times when you're stressed and you feel weak. And like Justin and I were talking about that, is like you lean into those things because the longer you resist them, the longer that lingers, the longer you sit in that. And even when something's light, like carrying something light for a long time becomes heavy over time. And I think that there are things that we naturally feel that we resist that God wants to use. And sometimes when maybe we feel like there's a lack of belonging, a lack of acceptance, like we feel that, I actually truly believe when you lean in on that, I think God wants to use you to be someone that connects people, to be someone that is inclusive. Anytime there's a lot of fear and self-doubt, that might be an opportunity where God wants you to lead. But you don't want to naturally lean in on that. Sometimes it's the opposite of what you're feeling. When you lean in on that, God is able to use that. And you tell yourself that, okay, I can't feel some of those things. I can't be some of these things. I need to be something else right now. And I think that is the paradigm shift to give is what if you took a step into that? What if you walked into that? There's probably some uncertainty at North Point right now where you're like, I don't know if this is going to be the place that I was hoping that it would be. And now's not the time to dip. It's to dig in and say, okay, what might that look like? And not just like as a church, but in your faith. Like, what does my faith look like now? Now's the time to dig in and say, what might this look like if I face that storm? Not fake it till you make it. It's face it till you make it, right? Let me dig in. Let me walk toward that. And I'm going to go as far as I can go. And then once I get there, I'll be able to see further.
I love it. Jen, tell me about a time in your life that you had to do this. Like, what does this look like practically?
Practically, multiple times, right? I mean, I have changed roles. I've had leaders around me change roles before. And in transition, I think sometimes what maybe we started off on the journey with an expectation of those things shift and those things change. And so one of the conversations that I'll have sometimes with a staff member or it could be someone that's just attending North Point, it may not look the same as you thought it was going to look. From a staff perspective, when we look at it, I look at what you were hired to do. Those requirements might change right now. We all might pick up a little bit of extra slack. We may all do a few different things that weren't on that original offer letter. And one of the things in a shift that I'll ask people is, I know that this isn't what you signed on for. I know that this isn't what you expected it to be. I know it looks different. And I'm going to ask you to do some things that maybe you don't want to do. I'm going to ask you to say yes when you want to say no. And for those attending North Point, not staffers, it is the season of, we're going to ask you to still be on mission with us. The mission is bigger than Jeremy. And Jeremy would be the first person to say that. And so what we want to do in a transition, practically speaking, is just the idea of the bison is running into this. We don't think there's a storm coming. It just feels like tension. It just feels like maybe a little bit of chaos. It just feels uncertain. We don't know who that next person is going to be. But what we do know is that we have a really solid board. We have a really solid search committee. We have a really solid DLT, and we have an incredible staff. And so I think the ask that I would make in a transition, whether that's been in the business world, whether that's been in times of transition within personal relationships or family, is one of the things that I know is let's lean in, right? In coaching, we talk about this idea of sometimes we run to the smoke instead of going directly to the fire. And I think if there are feelings of uncertainty or anxiety or whatever that might be, don't mask it. Don't mask it with social media scrolls. Don't mask it with, well, this is different, so I'm not going to do this thing anymore. This is the time to say, okay, what is that fire? What's at the root of this? And that typically is God's calling for us, right? That typically is where he's saying, this is that when we search inside ourselves and we're looking for what's our next step to walk with him, that would be that fire, right? If I'm feeling a certain way, let's identify what that is instead of chasing the smoke.
Justin, I know you seem like a wise man. I'd say
No.
In this room, you're up there.
I would say top three.
You're up there.
Top three in this
You
room.
are up there.
Someone in the top three.
So here's what I know. Obviously, being married to Jamie, who's got a lot of wisdom in these areas, I feel like you do as well. I'm sure you've done this well and you've done this poorly before. Walk me through that.
I have done it poorly more often than well. I can remember specifically here at North Point, there was what you would call a storm. I love how you talk about that. Like, it doesn't have to be a storm. It doesn't have to be scary, but it's tension. It's anything that feels like, oh, I would rather not go through that.
The kids say that you're in your feels, right? You're like, oh,
How do I go around? Yeah.
Bet. Yeah. Did I use that right? I don't know.
I have no
I'm still
idea.
trying to figure that out.
Me too.
I think so.
I remember specifically there was a moment here at North Point within the staff about 8 years ago. And it was something that if I had walked into, I still don't know how it turns out. I just know walking away from it didn't turn out well. Right? Like that's the thing. Like I know what happens when you step away. Every time I've stepped away from tension, every time I've stepped away from something that is going to be a difficult conversation or a difficult season, every single time it has had the adverse effect of what I've actually wanted to happen. Every time I've stepped into it, it's been really difficult and it never turns out the way I think. But I always learn something through the process. And I think that's the key. Like when I look at this transition, when I look at this season, in my mind, I'm not like, when we find that right person, we're all going to high five.
It'll all be perfect.
We're going to get a campfire. We're going to sing songs around.
S'mores.
Like, there's going to be moments of s'mores. There's going to be some s'mores moments, right? But that moment will just bring more tension and more storms. So I think that there's this thought of, if we just walk away from it, it's okay. But I'm like, there's more than one. Like storms, like if you live in the Midwest, like you understand, like they come up all of the time. So it's not this process of getting better on navigating how you're walking through the storm or navigating how you're staying. Like it's about how you navigate just walking forward.
I think it's interesting what you said about every time you've delayed a hard conversation or you've walked away, it magnifies it. It makes it 10 times worse.
100%.
There's a book called Fierce Conversations, and they talk about that the conversation is the relationship, right? That's the basis of every relationship is the conversation. And a coach of mine one time put it well, and he said, easy conversations, hard life. Hard conversations, easy life. And so when you look at the idea of that, right, in this season, if you only stay surface level, if you only feel this little bit of tension, and you don't dive in, and you simply take that easy road, or you just say, how are you? And I'm fine, and there's never a dig deeper. The easy conversations tend to lead to harder things later. Yet if you'll lean in and you'll have that hard conversation, it is always hard. And it's always unexpectedly beautiful on the other side of it. Mm-hmm. And so I think when we're in this season, it is leaning into the hard. It's leaning into it and saying, I care so much about this that I'm willing to be in this hard conversation for as long as it takes for it to open up whatever doors it's going to open up.
And I think something important too to talk about, especially when you look at this season and you guys, what you're talking about, all of that, there's a difference between staying and moving into the storm. And I think that something that can be caught and taught when we're talking, right? Just like dig in, or I've talked about this with multiple North Pointers. Like, I hope you don't just stick around. Like if you're a North Pointer for this season, through this interim season, as John's leading, I hope you're not just thinking like, I'm going to wait it out. Like, wrestle with it. Like, that's the North Point thing to do. Be curious about it. Open your hands up and wrestle with it. So hopefully you're talking with your spouse. Like, we need to have it like, is this mission like in us? Like, have those walking into the storm and then just like waiting it out looks very similar, right? It can be like, yeah, I'm digging in. So my prayer is that you're not just sitting there and waiting for the next person. My prayer is that you're not just sitting there and praying with us and hoping. You're like, yeah, I'm on mission, but I'm just kind of, I'm waiting it out. Like, wrestle with it. Like, is this the place for you? Like, is this the mission for you? Is it inside of you? Like, does your family in this season, does it match up? Like, ask those questions. I think that's what's walking into the storm, where I'm like, game on. I'm like, it will only make you stronger, and it will only make North Point stronger. And as we've talked for years, I'm like, whatever. North Point's North Point. I don't feel like North Point's going to be here in 94 years. It might be. It might be like massive, and it might not be. Like, my goal would not be to make sure North Point lasts for eternity and there's a statue of Jeremy and John and Jen and Justin.
I love that we made the statue.
Jody, there's a mural of Jody on the back wall.
Of course.
There
Obviously.
should be. Obviously. On the back wall? I would put her on the front wall.
On the front wall with multitudes of children. And it's just like the goal is just, let's create a safe place. Let's create a safe place for people to find and follow Jesus, and whatever that looks like Monday, awesome. I hope it looks like that Tuesday. And it might look a little bit different Wednesday, but I'm in for the journey, right?
And I love that because no one knows what the next 5 years looks like in their life, in their health fitness journey, in their faith journey. We never know the next 50 steps. We just know the next one. And so it's that line of, I don't know where I'm going, but I know how to get there. And this is really it. Like we have no idea what when you get through the storm, what is that going to look like? What are the trees going to look like? What is everything going to look like? We don't know. At the same time, we know how to get there.
Yeah.
And it's one step at a time, facing this, naming it, not so you can tame it, not so you can get through it, but there is a beautiful thing on the other side of this that I believe is going to grow you. It's going to grow this church, and it's going to grow some people around you.
That's great. You do have to name it to tame it, though.
That's true. I've heard that before.
Yeah, it's just a thing. Yeah. I'm excited. I am excited. I said this on the last episode, like there's a nervous energy in me, right? Like I'm excited to see what happens. And not only see what happens, I'm excited for this week. I'm excited for you speaking. I'm excited for the team to minister to people. I'm excited for now. I'm excited for what's to come. Absolutely. I'm excited to get past all of that. But I'm excited for today. Like I am excited for what North Point is, what it has been, and what it will be. All of that.
It is this mission vision, right? What we do is actually where we're going. Mission, what we do. Vision, where we're going. What we do is where we're going. What we do is like we're walking people through baptisms right now. That doesn't stop because Jeremy leaves, right? Where people are starting to follow Jesus for the very first time or restarting for the 100th time. But this time they're like, hey, like this time I'm doing it for real. How do I do this? That does not stop. Give back. We just celebrated an awesome give back experience across multiple communities, which is so cool because we don't just get to be neighbors like here in Springfield. We get to be neighbors in Nixa and Republic, the surrounding Ozarks area, which is incredible. And none of that stops. We get to continue doing what we've been doing. And that's actually where we're going.
I love it. We're at 30 minutes, and there's not really a timeline to the
But
race.
it's 30 minutes.
But I mean,
Have you been timing this?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But
I saw him check his watch a few
Unbelievable.
times.
Yeah, I mean, I watch. I always get nervous. I haven't pushed a button or something, so it's always nerve wracking. So then I'm like, but then it's at 30 minutes, and then I got to go back, and I'm like, did everything work? So if we go past 30 minutes, I feel like we wasted our time if it didn't work. But if it's like 30 minutes or under, you guys would be like,
I could do it again.
Yeah, I'll do it again.
I could say it better.
You're like 42 minutes. You're like, we just went 42 minutes, which is
No one needs to hear that. No one needs to hear that.
Side.
No.
No.
So I love having this team around this table.
Same.
I'm excited for this season. I'm excited for next season. I'm excited for just seasons. I really am. And very thankful for both of you. And I'm also thankful for everybody that I've heard from, that I know that you guys have heard from, texts that have come our way, emails that have come our way. People are digging in. Mm-hmm. People are in love with the mission. And it's a really cool moment to see that when you get those texts, you get those emails that you're like, wow, this means a lot to a lot of people. And I'm honored to be a part of it. So thanks for going through this. Thanks for charging the storm. Is it Charging the Storm?
Charge the Storm. I'll get you a shirt with a buffalo on it. Charging the Storm.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
I hope you wear a medium.
Medium. He's a medium.
It's a petite large. Yeah, it's a petite large. All right, Riff Raff, thank you guys for joining us. We will see you next week. We'll see you or hear you. I mean, if you're not watching this, I guess you wouldn't see us, but...
Hey, land the plane, buddy.
Land the plane.
Land the plane.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Riff. We'll have a brand new episode every week, wherever you find podcasts.